Welcome back to Talking Through Your Kick. Russ Barwick alongside Neil Evans from Luxbet and the two form gurus from News Limited's racing papers. I'm talking about Brent Zarafa and Nicholas Quinn. Boys, both of you being fully fledged journalists as opposed to us who are pretend ones, we're all over the how much do you love me, or as hashtagged on Twitter, how much can you drug me, scandal that was floating about. Well, Twitter is harsh. Saturday at the races. What about it all?
Yeah, it was certainly very controversial. The Racing Investigations Unit found a bag, and inside the bag was tubing gear. It was dry, so there had been it hadn't been used. But the Caracassanets camp are saying they'd picked up the wrong bag and that they thought there was hay in it, and that there was nothing untoward. It was a mistake. They were taken back to the stewards. There was a big inquiry. There was toing and froing back and forth with the stewards sort of probing to see were they trying to get an unfair advantage. Tony and Con, which is Tony's Con's father, both argued back saying, look, we've done nothing wrong. It was a pure mistake. The horse was allowed to run. The big drifter on track.
Massive.
Got beat. After the race, they said didn't race like the same horse. No charges were laid, but now we have an inquiry which will take place in the next couple of weeks where more evidence will come forward and this full situation will get to the
Pre-race swabs were taken, post-race swabs were taken.
They swore that there was nothing given to the horse, and that'll be shown up in that. So,
just for the benefit of those, including myself, who don't know the advantage and disadvantage, what basically, well, I found out when it all happened because I spoke to a trainer, but tell me what is the benefit, what is the tubing scenario?
Give them a stomach drench, which is sort of like electrolytes, and they can give them sort of whatever they want. It gives them a bit of a pre-race boost to get ready for what's coming up.
It goes straight into their stomach, and bicarb, which is the old bicarbonate soda, it actually allows their levels to be increased so that they don't get that cramp in your stomach, like a stitch, as you might call it. That doesn't happen until later. So you push yourself, and being an animal, it doesn't have the mental capacity to say no. It just gives them more capacity.
Okay, so no evidence right here now, but what about the run? Because it trialled like a beast, but 400 metre mark at compounds takes Twinkle Toes out of the race.
Well, it was a 1,200 metre race yesterday, and its gallop on Tuesday was over 800 metres, so travelled very well until that stage. But
I mean, it was up to 58 in a much better field.
And you're a fan, you've seen it every run.
It looked good, but I thought it was too short in the market when it went to $1.95, and I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that it was favourite for the Patnack Farm. When you had a horse like Sea Siren, who's won 3 Group 1s at Weight for Age, and How Much Do You Love Me, which, yes, it was on the way up in a nice spiral, but hadn't even raced in one Group 1 yet and was taking over at the market.
We got to 225 and they didn't want to touch it. That was well before the race.
OK, let's have a look at some of the tweets and forum posts that happened during the course of the afternoon. As you imagine, plenty going on. This is from Eels. Would have to be scratched if proven. Darren Weir had his horse Glebe Run scratched from the Warrnambool Carnival a couple of years back after tubes were found near the stables. Why wasn't this one scratched?
Well, I don't know, but plenty of punters, including myself, wish it was scratched because it just doesn't look good when there's this going on leading up to a big race at Flemington.
But you can't scratch on looks. You can't be
guilty on looks. Horses have been scratched for a lot less than that.
OK, to be fair, this one seemed a legitimate mistake. Seems unlikely they would be drugging it 5 minutes before the stewards were due to come. Another bloke says, I didn't buy the excuse, picked up the wrong bag, a bag of hay and a bag of tubes. A lot different.
Fair point. There was actually a lot of punters who were quite nervous outside the stewards' room and in the mounting enclosures because they took the all-in betting from on Tuesday, and even if it got scratched, it would have been gone.
Well, this is another way to do your brass. Not a tip, but just putting it out there. If How Much Do You Love Me had been tubed as alleged, then why is it now drifting in betting?
No, it hadn't been tubed.
The key is it hadn't been. So maybe the illusion was that we'll allow punters to get as much as we can on this as we can. And normally when there's a scratching, the bookies wind it in because they want to get the best deductions out of a scratching, you know, just before a horse is scratched.
Do that,
goes from $2.10 to $1.85.
It's a bizarre story because I tell you, the drift was there from a mile out before all that happened. So very interesting what happens from here.
Unfortunately, as we all know, the winner, you know, was well supported, but hardly gets a run in all the post-race.
That's just the way of the world, isn't it?
Jeez, I thought Tiger Tease was on.
And you reckon there was a bit of controversy out of that race? Well, there was plenty of controversy out of the McKinnon Stakes. Ocean Park, dominant favourite, was everybody's good thing of the day. Was Quinny's best spring bet of the year.
No, I never said that.
Another one gone.
Alco Pop, the 9-year-old or the 8-year-old or whatever he is, he's 1,000. Gets up on the inside, a beautiful Craig Williams ride while everyone else is going wide. He does what you tell him to do.
Yeah, shortcut home. Obviously a smaller field. The gap was there, but just a beautiful ride, I thought, and a very popular winner, Alco Pop. Plenty where I was, they were plenty on it. It was 5.50 into 5. It was fancied. Ocean Park was adrift, but just a gun ride to get the last crack at the Tearaway Glass Harmonium.
Well, that Underwood Stakes form's held up enormous. We've seen
Caulfield Cup's held up okay as well.
Well, but that because they come from that.
Yeah,
so it was the Caulfield Stakes. Well, the Underwood Ocean Park won. Then the Caulfield Stakes, Alco Pop runs second. Sincero third. He come out and won the Cox Plate. Alco Pop runs second in the Caulfield Cup, and then comes out and wins.
But the thing that got beaten into 4th or 5th, Midas Touch, gets lapped.
Yeah, but what? Just two pretty good cases.
I'm just saying. How come Williams, there's an email here from Mick from Gosford, how come Williams rode Alco Pop and not Dominic Tenua? It was also quite funny, the race in Adelaide straight after the McKinnon was actually won by Tenua.
Dom gets the cash.
He wouldn't have even seen the McKinnon as he was at the barriers.
Well, I don't know what went on, but I'm tipping Dom Tenua wasn't too impressed because the way he went to Twitter after the race, and you got a tweet there, Russ?
I have. Reason every jockey gets out of bed is to find that one horse, hashtag looking for motivation, but that was only, there was other ones, hashtag numb, gutted.
Yeah, he wasn't a happy camper.
Oh, there was, my
information...
information...
close to his heart, fair enough.
Yeah, my information, there was a bit of a personal issue that caused him to get the flick. But at the end of the day, you see Williams rides Group 1 winners. It happens.
Well, Dom Tenor rides a horse, all right, don't worry.
And sometimes it happens in, like Jimmy Cassidy, and it doesn't work for you with Glen Cadham Gold. And now Tommy's got a ride in the Melbourne Cup. Here's a couple of other. Gordy NZ. Bossy got too far back on Ocean Park, needed to start his run a bit earlier. I don't think so.
He had his chance. Glass Harmonium was there to be beaten. I thought it was a fantastic ride by Damien Oliver. He tried to pinch it. That's the way to ride Glass Harmonium. And unfortunately for him, he just got pipped by a strong horse.
Here's one.
Stepped away from the barrier.
Ocean Park had a 20-cent piece size hole in his left front hoof. Might explain why he didn't sprint as fast as usual.
They obviously weren't down in the birdcage sipping on champagne to be able to notice
20-cent hole, too. Well, the bigger holes upstairs, more than 20 cents.
He was a bit flat, though, wasn't he? I mean, in hindsight...
Which is fair enough, too. He just ran in a Cox Plate the week before. Yeah,
but from a punting perspective, we don't want things that look a good thing to be a bit flat. Should he have not been there?
You love a good thing.
Well, they couldn't give away $1.80.
I don't remember them.
From 160, they couldn't give away $1.80.
Well, I'm just wondering, the horse had, what, 3 weeks first run, 3 weeks or 4 weeks second run, 3 weeks third run, or 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden they try and back it up within 7 days.
Well, you've got to have a throw at the stumps. It's $1 million race the week after. Why not? He didn't run bad. He just got beaten.
What does he go to now, the Ocean Park?
I think he's
going to stud.
Oh, no, I think he'll go out. I think hearing that he may go to a race in Dubai next preparation.
Well, his owners are both Hong Kong businessmen, so I'm surprised that they're not going to pull him over there for one of the international races there at some stage.
Maybe they do on the way through to Dubai, but yeah, I'm not...
Just a little stop off on the way, in fact,
Might be
to
a bit close.
Dubai. Speaking of big race meetings, there is no doubt away from Flemington, the place, and I say the places to be, Randwick and Rose Hill, Brenty boy. We're big fans, all of us are, of the races on Cup Day, but in Sydney there are 2 meetings. There's the meeting at Randwick, which is the picnic meeting.
Yep.
6 races there, and you won't know too many of the horses' names, nor the jockeys. At Rosehill, though, they expect a crowd of around 30,000 there as well.
Yeah, it'll be a bumper day at Rosehill Gardens. That's your main meeting in Sydney. But wouldn't it be a fantastic day to see some amateur riders and there's all the stories that come around it?
Well, they never race at Randwick. It's all the amateur riders have always in the past been everybody else.
They won't know themselves now with actual rails and manicured turf, not barbed wire fences.
Saluting in front of the big grand... Oh, no, it's gone. The grandstand is not there anymore.
30,000, you reckon?
30,000, they reckon, at Rosehill.
30,000.
Yeah, they reckon. What at Rosehill?
20.
I'll bet you another lunch.
Yep, on.
Another lunch.
Oh, I'll get the official number.
$25,000 cash
30,
in Australia's biggest Cup Super Sweep. That's at both venues. If you want to get into some of the corporate hospitality, you have probably missed the gate there, or missed the boat even. But tons of fun to be had. And there's meetings all around Australia. Just quickly, straw poll. There's a...
What?
The Melbourne Cup should be a public holiday all around Australia. I say no. The reason why it's so good is because work functions turn into Melbourne Cup Day functions.
Well, the greatest shame is that the race jumps at 3 o'clock. It should be later, because if it's the race that stops the nation, what about all the mums picking the kids up from school?
Yes, and what about the kids?
I just don't believe it.
What about the kids when we're at school running a book? You couldn't get settled until the following day.
In the ice cream container with all the little coins under your bed.
Yay or nay?
It's got to be later.
I think what it is what it is.
Don't mess with them.
Nah.
Should be a public holiday without a shadow of a doubt.
I agree.
No way should it be a
Nick's
public
right.
holiday. And those
As
people
usual, Nick's right.
don't work hard enough. My best spring bet of the year. Don't change a thing. We'll take a break here and come back and have a look at the rest of Melbourne Cup Day and, in fact, try and find you a winner on Melbourne Cup Day 2012.